early in my career, I was I was guilty of that. I didn't really understand what was happening as far as, what clients were looking for. And I was really just trying to go along with what I thought was interesting. But making sure that you guys understand that, because for me, I started off really focusing on the fashion industry. And for me, I was really excited because I wanted to start off as a fashion photographer. And I thought that, yeah, my goal was to shoot for the big campaigns like Burberry and Giorgio Armani and stuff like that. But I also started to realize that there are certain trends that I need to be aware of. There also, I need to know, like, if you want to make a lot of money in photography, do you want to go after fashion, or maybe we should look after some of the commercial lifestyle aspects of that? What aspects of photography are trending financially? And that's also really important because those are all very different things. I'm going to be setting a series of Q&A, a series of questions that I also am really interested in having you guys answer. And the first one is, which photographic trends are most important to you? Now, I'm not listing out all the trends. I'm just putting in some of the ones that we're going to be talking about today. Which photographic trends? So is it new marketing techniques, booking more clients? Are you interested in understanding kind of what's trending in models and casting? Photographic equipment, lighting, cameras, gear. Are you interested in artificial intelligence, incorporating that into your work and how it affects you as a photographer? Or is it fashion styling, design, trends in the industry? So I know those are, a few select things we're going to be talking about, but I am curious because I wanted to understand, based upon what you guys are all giving me answers for, I'm obviously going to be trying to tie down what we're going to be talking about, those aspects a little bit more, because this is a live webinar and it's something that I can go in depth with based upon what you guys want to hear. I'd love to see you guys' questions. So please feel free to ask some questions in the Q&A. I know this is going to be heated and we're going to have a lot of great questions. And also feel free to use the chat as well. And I'd love to, hear from your perspective, essentially where you guys are in your photography. And what's affecting you right now in trends. I do think that is very, very, very important. And to kind of understand where you guys are at in the trends of photography, because if you are, at the forefront of fashion, obviously it's going to be a different trend than if you were, say, doing photojournalism or portraiture or weddings or fine art. So we're all, obviously, everything's trending very differently. Okay, so go ahead and please answer those questions. I'm going to be asking a whole series of poll questions. I'd love to hear your answers. I'm also going to bring on some amazing panelists as well. Now, the first thing I do want to talk about is some of the trending photographic styles, okay? Now, the images that we have, like, kind of to showcase this webinar, were specifically some of the styles of what's going on in high fashion, okay? So this is just, the latest campaigns for Versace, Dolce & Gabbana, Giorgio Armani. These are some of the hot fashion trends right now. Now, a few things just to note here. Trending, the styling is really important. The styling is really over the top. It's very impactful. There's kind of a mix between some color as well as a lot of blacks and grays and things like that. And I track this all the time, every day, because I'm always looking at Vogue, Vanity Fair, Harper's Bazaar. I'm always looking at the Gucci campaigns, the Prada campaigns, the Giorgio Armani campaigns. I want to know what is really happening. And of course, each brand is going to be trending differently, because each brand is trying to set the trend, right? And they're trying to be hot. But one thing's for sure is that a lot of the lighting, I would say, is pretty similar. So in photographic lighting, I would say that a lot of this, it's beautifully lit, but I would say that a lot of it is not very overlit. I remember, several years ago, there was something really hot where everything was like cross-lit. There were tons of hair lights. There was tons of overlighting the subjects. And I would say that that's really gone out of fashion. The trend now, it's a little bit less is more. And most of these scenes that you guys are looking at right now, they can be done really effectively with only a few lights. You don't need a tremendous amount of lighting equipment, whether you're indoors in a studio or whether you're outside on location. Another trend that I want to point out is the makeup and hair. Okay, so one of the things you notice is that there's not a bunch of this bright red lipstick, and I know photographers do this all the time in their portfolios. They're crazy with some of the makeup. You notice that a lot of the makeup, it's more of a clean beauty makeup with some nuance of some dewiness, some sweaty kind of feel. That's really hot right now. So you can kind of go either one of two ways. You can go for that dewy mist look, kind of sweaty look, or you can go for more of the matte look. But as you can tell in some of these high fashion brands, this is very, very popular. Okay, so I like to incorporate stuff like this because this, I want my work to constantly be in style. I want it to line up with what's hot in the industry right now. So that will be my suggestion. Okay. Oh, and thanks guys for the Q&A, because it does say that I just have to adjust the chat. Okay, this is fantastic. Go ahead and you guys can, I just adjusted the chat so you guys can mention things in the chat. Sorry about that. David Koblitz, Jada Bostic, Jim. Okay, great. And you know what, I did want to address AI. So Jim F, he's saying that Vogue Singapore use generative AI to create covers. Maybe not quite ready for prime time. Any comments on that? That is a great message, and I'm loving that, Jim. So yeah, Vogue Singapore, they are trying to stay at the forefront. It's all in the rage right now, just in the last few months. I think that that it's really, really important to understand what AI is doing to photography. Now, I know a lot of photographers are scared. A lot of photographers are thinking, oh my gosh, AI, it's going to take away all the photography away from us. We're not going to need AI anymore. What are we going to do as photographers? I've heard this many times, and I know photographers are freaking out. Honestly, guys, it is not going to kill the industry. It is not. Okay. I would actually say it's going to benefit you in a lot of ways. First of all, what AI is essentially it's computer generated content based upon prior photographs, based upon prior photographs. So what AI is essentially it's computer generated content. Essentially, guys, if we are already using AI, it's because the images created in AI are based upon content already generated by creative photographers. That's what AI is doing. They're taking images, past images, and they're taking content that's already been created, and then they're using artificial intelligence to then create new content adapted from that prior content. So one methodology is to use your photography as an image library and license it as photography to use for AI. There's a huge advantage there. So obviously this is something that Getty and the major stock companies are obviously a big part of right now because they have the largest stock photography troves, but there's not as much money in stock photography. So you're going to have to be very, very careful of that too. But as far as high-end photography and creating really dynamic, incredible content, AI is going to have to draw from really high quality images. So essentially it's, it's just moving pixels around. Essentially. But I do believe that photographers can incorporate AI into their photography projects for the right client if it's necessary. But generally, a lot of times these days, even with AI where it is, it's still not at the level of what a world-class photographer can create on their own. And also, it's, oftentimes now there is this aspect of, is it fake? Is it real? Is it, and there's, I think, a concern to the public. And if you're generating celebrities that are fake and stuff, it kind of diminishes, obviously, the perception of what photography is. And is it real? Is it just a computer generated thing? I don't know if I value it as much. So I think that one of the benefits of doing a live photo shoot is you can also film video. You can also stream it live on social, and there's going to be more and more, I would say, stock and interest and value as a live photo shoot rather than a computer generated animation. So the more social outlets, the more you present this on different platforms, the more that you have it as a video in addition to the photography. It's very, very hard for AI as far as for photographic budgets to be able to get to that same level. Now, yes, there's great, digital animation that they use in major motion pictures, but it's extremely expensive to do. So one benefit is that as photographers that are also doing video, AI is a long way from doing entire films and basically nixing out the need for a film production crew and doing video. So I would say that there is an advantage. You as photographers can deliver both photography and video in 2023, and you don't necessarily need to be just seen as that, oh my gosh, I'm competing with AI. you can present something that's custom to the client, added more value, and we know that it's real because you can even do live streams on Insta. You can do video content that you're filming in real time, and then obviously the photograph. Now, of course, we are also photoshopping our images, and that is another trend right now. Over photoshopped content is not in right now. Having things that are, and a few years ago, it kind of went the other direction where it was like almost, like anti-retouching, where things were almost too raw. Now I feel like it's come back a little bit from what I've seen. So what we're looking at is high quality images, which is where I like the industry to be. And if you even look at, these images that I've been talking about, they are retouched. They're beautifully retouched. They don't look overdone to me. They don't look over smooth to me. They still look natural and real, but they are making the talent look perfect. So, but anyway, this is absolutely fantastic. I love your guys' questions. And I would say that, David Koblitz asked a great question. What would they pay to license an image library for AI? Well, my answer to that, David, is it's going to be based upon how many images are in the library, what the usage is for the AI. Is it going to be for commercial usage? Is it going to be for social media usage? What is the end product? That's going to have a lot to do with it. So, I mean, it could be, and it depends on the size of the library, but it could be something anywhere from $10,000 to $500,000, depending on what the usage is and how many images we're talking about. Okay. And what the clients are willing to pay to incorporate in the AI. Right. So that is something, David, that, it's something I would always recommend contacting a series of photography agents to get their perspectives on, because I think that's really, really important, is to call and actually speak to live photographic agents that represent photographers, deal with this every single day. Very, very, very important. Okay, the next thing I wanted to talk about, guys, is what's in and hot right now in talent. All right, so according to the New York Times, we have I know right now we've had all of this super hot interest in, plus size models, a lot of multicultural, a lot of, different, models from not only just male and female, but also trans models and stuff. There's been a big movement towards that and a trend. But what's interesting is that, trends come and go. And I have to say, from a business perspective, one thing to always look at is what is trending in the high fashion industry. And according to the New York Times, they just came out with an article last month about specifically how in Paris Fashion Week, we saw a reduction of plus size models by over 25% across all fashion lines. And of the top 8 high fashion brands, there wasn't a single model that was plus size. And these are the top fashion brands in Paris at the forefront of fashion going into 2020, 2024, and coming into what's trending in Europe that, of course, then trickles over to trending in America. So I know plus size models have been really hot over the last, couple of years. And you see it, whenever you go out shopping, you go to the shopping mall or you go to Target, you see plus size models everywhere. But I can tell you this trend is shifting in the marketplace. And those big fashion industry, top tier brands that are in Europe that are showcasing a return to the ultra thin, the size 0 to 2 is already shifted back. So what you will see in the next couple of years is a massive transition back to the way it was up until about 5 years ago. So just be aware of that, guys. So I think it is important to be photographing not just content that's in right now, but content that's going to be in the future. Very, very, very important. And I think that, and by the way, guys, I know that I introduced myself earlier on this call, but I have had a couple of people that are new to our live webinars. And I did want to mention and, discuss essentially who I am so you guys can understand the photography that I do, who I am, and kind of my experience in the trends of photography. I'm Kevin Michael Schmitz. I'm a TV director, executive producer, and celebrity fashion photographer. I have been shooting my entire career as a fashion and lifestyle commercial photographer. And I've also been represented by 4 different agents in my career that have represented me as a photographer. I'm a TV director, executive producer, and host of the TV show Great Escapes. And I shoot campaigns for Burberry. I shoot campaigns for Giorgio Armani. I've shot over 200 magazine editorials in my career. And I also founded the Photography Workshop Series about 14 years ago as the most elite photographic workshop in the world, where we work with photographers to give them the opportunity to shoot the greatest images they've ever shot in their lifetime. And that is something I'm really proud of, because what we're doing is we are always, always, always being at the forefront of fashion trends. Now, I bring on the best celebrity stylists. These are stylists that style for Vogue and Harper's Bazaar and Vanity Fair. This is from our New York fashion workshop, where we work with supermodels that have been in Vogue, and we work with a stylist that's bringing in Louis Vuitton and Versace, and we're shooting on location at a $40 million mansion. And I am always trying to shoot content that is going to be trending now or trending in the future. Very, very important. Or if we're shooting on not just fashion, but we're shooting on the lifestyle front, if you're shooting commercial lifestyle and you want to shoot advertising photography, or you even want to shoot portrait photography and consumer photography, I'm also going to be shooting world-class content that is going to not just be trending now, but that will always be trending. Now, this is something that I do want to discuss, because a lot of photographers are always, worried about what's hot right now. But I also want you to think about, okay, if I'm going to develop a photographic portfolio that's going to be hot now, next year, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, how do I do that? So one method to do that is to create a body of work for instance, for commercial lifestyle. This works best for lifestyle and portrait photography, as well as wedding photography. Shooting content that's going to be evergreen. The way to do that is to start with world-class top models. Like, for instance, the model we're looking at right now, CJ Franco. She's actually a major TV host on a TV show on Netflix right now. And she was one of the models for our workshop in Newport Beach. But if you notice, the makeup is it's clean beauty makeup with a nude lip that's glossed. The eyes are not overdone. The girl's hair, it's fun, it's lifestyle-y. She's got this beautiful solar flare bursting in, and she's wearing kind of a boho lifestyle feel. You notice this kind of scene, I could totally see this being shot like yesterday and being relevant in the industry. But this shot was shot like 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, right? But it's still in right now. It's a fantastic shot. Content like this that is shot with multiple model images, where we're showcasing models styled in more of a boho lifestyle scene. And boho will never go out of style, because it's kind of this retro kind of feel, right? And what's great about that is that there's always going to be a need for that, guys. There's always going to be a need for, and that will always be a segment of the industry, is that whole free people kind of boho lifestyle vibe, right? That'll always be there. That's not going to be disappearing, 3 years from now. 5 years from now. Okay. So one of the reasons we incorporate this type of wardrobe into our commercial lifestyle advertising photography workshops that are also adapted really well for portrait photographers is that this kind of wardrobe is evergreen. It's stuff that isn't going to be obsolete next season. Now, in fashion, maybe it will. Yes, it's fashion. But in lifestyle, I try to style it so that it's going to last years and years and years and be a portfolio that will work for you for many, many years to come, and it won't become obsolete. And we're very careful about that, because I'm understanding trends. I understand what's hot in photography, but I also want to create content with you guys that's going to work for you for many years to come, and you get the most bang for your buck out of the production. What's hot right now is diversity, for sure, having different ethnic backgrounds. But I also want to say that it's not just about incorporating one ethnicity, because I think that that's the misconception a lot of people have about multicultural diversity, but it's different ethnicities. And in this case, for instance, we have more ethnically ambiguous children. So we have also diversity, not just between racial diversity, but also diversity within ages. And I think that's really important to have age demographic diversity. So having child models, having young adult models, having parents and children, having mature models, elderly models, very, very valuable in your portfolio right now. This is trending in commercial lifestyle. Very, very, very valuable. So I think that something like this will always be trending if you have scenes that don't look dated and they look like they, can work this year, next year, maybe a few years from now. Very, very valuable. But also sequences where they're fun and they're energized, and we have these different age demographics, and we also have different racial demographics all included, and even better yet, of all, having models that are ethnically ambiguous, which is also very, very hot. And that's been in for a few years now. And I do think that that's going to continue. The trend is having models that are ethnically ambiguous because they can go in different directions. And if you, look at, for instance, some of the recent award-winning photography, because, just so you guys know, over the last 2 years, we've won 175 photographic awards between Lurzer's Archive, Color Awards, International Photography Awards, as well as the One Island Awards. In fact, in the top 10 fashion photographers in America, we won 7 out of the top 10 fashion photographers of America, which is really, really incredible. And if you also notice, we have some incredible different variations of scenes. And then also images that have been winning awards and getting published also have a lot of more ethnic ambiguity as far as the different ethnicities of the models themselves. So that is very, very hot. And I love a model like this because you can't tell what ethnicity she is, and it kind of ticks a lot of different angles and boxes for clients, which is also fantastic. I do want to be very, very careful, though, of making sure that we're doing a multicultural shoot not just for the sake of it, but because it's important, because there's some reason to do it. And I think a lot of photographers make the mistake of just throwing a token minority into a scene, or, you've seen it. I know that you guys have seen some of the ads where they're showcasing, people with a disability into a scene. And I want to make sure that we're not going to be exploitive. We're going to be incorporating them into a scene and into a story that's going to be valuable, and it's going to add to the story. It's going to add to the value of the production, and it's not going to be exploitive. So I want to be very, very careful about that. And I want you guys to as well, because brands that have done it in an exploitive way have really had a lot of pushback, and it's really injured their brand and hurt sales. And therefore, it stops to trend, and they start to go in different directions. So I've seen a lot of that over the last couple of years with major brands. And I have, and also we see huge decline in sales because of that. So I want you guys to be aware of that. And as far as what's trending now, what's trending in the future, really, really, really valuable to understand these things. Okay, guys. And if you guys have any questions about that, I'd love, 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 love to answer them live right now and talk about it. And by the way, the images we're looking at now were shot at the Las Vegas Fashion Photography Workshop on location out at a cracked earth desert. These were mostly shot by Lance Andrews, one of our photographers, an incredible African-American photographer that is also attending our French Castle workshop coming up in France, which is an incredible, massive scale production. It's absolutely out of this world. All right, guys. And by the way, in answer to your Q&A, it looks like most of you guys answered with which photographic trends are the most important to you. And it looks like the vast majority of you guys said new marketing techniques to book more clients. Okay, that's really interesting. I was actually expecting more people to be concerned about AI, but I love to hear that you guys are interested in what are the new strategies, what's hot right now, what's trending to book opportunities. So I'm going to go more in depth about that. So thank you guys so much. I absolutely love that. And I want you guys to also answer some of the next upcoming questions. Okay, so I'm also going to list out which of these experiences, and by the way, guys, I'm going to be talking a little bit about these, not just trends, but how we're going to meet those trends in our photographic production. So for instance, if you're trending and you want to get what's hot in fashion right now, getting involved in, for instance, the Las Vegas Fashion Workshop, or coming to the New York Fashion Workshop, or coming to the Elite Masterclass and winning a major photographic award and becoming a trending photographer, winning top 10 fashion photographer in America award would really add to your value as a photographer. And, and for instance, our fashion workshops, Las Vegas, we also have our New York Fashion Workshop in September, our Elite Masterclass in October, and then the French dream castle experience where you're shooting with supermodels at my 49-room 13th century palace in France that I own. And we're going to be doing this massive scale epic production on location in France, in Massy-en-Cambrai, at my 49-room castle. And this is incredible for not only fashion photographers, also those of you who are hobbyists, as well as portrait and wedding photographers, to create that epic content that you've always wanted to create. We're going to be telling stories, not just with this amazing photographic fashion content, and also obviously this, what we're looking at now is more of a bridal sequence, but we're going to be doing it more with costumes. We're going to be, we have handmade custom costumes for that very Baroque and Renaissance feel, just like you see here. And we're going to be creating something that's very timeless, not something that's going to trend for a hot minute and be gone, but something that's going to be timeless. And it's almost going to be a fine art piece that you'll have for the rest of your life, which I think is also really, really important. It's stuff that you can print in a giant 4 by 6 foot canvas print and hang on the wall. That level of content. So, all right, guys, this is really, really incredible stuff. I also am going to get to some of my amazing panelists here. These are photographers that have attended these experiences that I've worked with. I'm going to ask them some questions about this. And I also am going to bring on the great Priscilla Evans, which is my production coordinator that makes a lot of this magic happen. And you can see the magic happening in all this content. Content like this is very in right now. Photographic trending is because this is multiple model sequences and it's shooting with a mirrorless camera, which is obviously what's the trend right now as far as equipment. The Canon R5. They also have the R5C, which is essentially the Canon R5 with a cooling system built into it so it doesn't overheat. And we're shooting on a DJI gimbal. The Ronin, right now they make the Ronin 2 and the Ronin 3. Both are fantastic gimbals. And we're shooting with this unbelievable sequence, multiple model scenes, dressed in a very kind of boho style. So it lasts, it lasts for years. And then creating these dynamic scenes with horses, with animals, with multiple model sequences, energy, friends, love. This is very hot right now. So incorporating content like this, where we're shooting not only the photographic images, but also the video content to match. Absolutely stunning stuff. This is some of the stuff shot at some of the lifestyle workshops to give you an idea, right in line with what we're doing at our Virginia workshop, where we have our Virginia lifestyle and equestrian production, which is going to be out of this world. Just to give you a little idea, that's going to be happening next month in May, and we are creating mind-blowing content. It's going to be hot going forward. So as far as equipment, guys, obviously SLR cameras are still being used. I still love my SLR cameras, but right now mirrorless is in for a number of reasons. First of all, the mirrorless cameras, such as like a Canon R5C, these cameras are amazing at video. They're not only, this camera is not only a 45 megapixels, so it's photographing incredible clarity and sharpness and resolution, but also the focusing system, and it's out of this world. Now, the reason I own them, though, is specifically for video, because you can put that R5, which is a reasonably small camera, onto a gimbal, and we can now shoot at a level just like a large scale motion picture level production, and we're shooting content with 8K or in 4K at 120 frames a second in slow-mo. So like you're seeing right now, this was shot all by photographers attending that Miami Beach experience that we have coming up in 2 weeks. And we're shooting in slow-mo with the R5 on a gimbal, creating content like this. It looks like it's right out of like $100,000 Alexa kit, which is a major motion picture production camera. And it has that same kind of look, and the cameras are only like $3 to $4 grand. So it's definitely, equipment is fantastic right now these days. The cost of it has come down. The quality is incredible. It's only increased. And I love this. And oh, by the way, great. I'm getting some great questions. Leon Saperstein, will you teach another closing the deal workshop? If so, when? And what will that workshop cover? Well, we have the closing the deal workshop that you can enroll in right now, Leon. And I'd love for you to talk with one of my team members about that. And what that is essentially talking about the tips, the strategies, and the trends of how to close the deal in photographic workshops, or in this photographic workshop, how to close the deal with your photographic clients right now. Really important. And it's something that I think, of all the virtual workshops that we offer, it's the most valuable workshop we've ever done. And it's one that if you haven't seen it, if you haven't watched it, I want you guys to get on top of that right now. It is really, 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 really valuable. It's all about booking more clients, closing the deal. We bring in photographic panelists who are they are essentially agents that represent photographers that will give you the cutting edge guidance of what's in right now and what you need to close the deal, and strategies that are working right now to close the deal. And since you guys asked a lot about marketing, I do want to discuss that. Some of the what's in right now as far as photographic trends in marketing your photography and essentially getting more clients. Well, right now, what's really, really, really hot is tremendous amount of video content. I know you're photographers, but video is so in right now. Also, specifically shooting vertical videos, which is a lot harder to do, obviously, because obviously it's a lot easier on our iPhones. But we can set up on the gimbals to go vertical with a mirrorless camera like an R5, and we can shoot the whole thing vertically if the intention is for social media. It doesn't work so well with most drones. I've actually been asked this by clients, but it works really, really well with, it depends on the drone you're using, but it works really well with SLR and mirrorless cameras because they already are set up to go either horizontal or portrait. But shooting video content vertically for social use is very hot right now, because obviously social is still very, very hot, whether you're, especially for Instagram, TikTok, and then of course, we've got Facebook, which can go vertical or horizontal. And then I really think that what's hot right now that I've noticed in a trend is as far as successfully booking clients is LinkedIn, guys. LinkedIn is absolutely huge right now. Everyone's on LinkedIn. And I think that if you're not using LinkedIn every day to market yourself, we've got to reevaluate your campaign, your marketing yourself, your photography, because LinkedIn, and the difference is that in, when you're looking in Instagram, and you are trying to, communicate with clients on Instagram, say you're on Instagram and somebody replied to your post and you're trying to DM them. How many times does that DM never get answered? Okay. I hear this all the time from photographers. Well, oh yeah, like they're interested, but then I DM them, they never respond. Well, because your DM on Instagram is going into their junk. It's going into their spam box. It's not being approved oftentimes. So if that's the case, we're not getting through to those people. And I would say that almost in my experience, it's something probably 75% of my DMs, aren't responded to because they're never seen. And I would say that, it's still worth it to message, and it's also worth it to get like the blue tick to get verified. But I think that what's more valuable is to reach out to people on LinkedIn, because it will always go to their inbox, and they'll get a notification that'll go to their email inbox, so they'll see it. And that's a beautiful thing about LinkedIn. So I strongly encourage that. That's trending right now. LinkedIn is hot, especially for commercial photography. Everyone's on LinkedIn. All the big decision makers are on LinkedIn. And also, if you are a consumer photographer, those clients that are wealthier clients, ones that are willing to spend the money, whether it's for a portrait session or a wedding shoot, are also on LinkedIn. So the higher tier clients, which are the ones you want anyway, are ones that are generally going to be on LinkedIn. By the way, just the answers to your polls, guys, which photographic workshops are you guys most interested in attending? The vast majority of you guys said the Elite Masterclass. Love to hear it. That's awesome. That is our most elite photographic workshop that we've ever done in the history of the photography workshop series, until, of course, the French Castle experience, which is going to probably blow that out of the water. But the Elite Masterclass, I do want to go over this. And if you want to trend in photography, this is essentially where most of the award-winning images that we have shot at our workshops are coming from. This gives you an idea of the Elite Masterclass. This has a section, has sections: 3 days of fashion, 2 days of lifestyle, commercial advertising, and each day is completely different from the next. So whereas, for instance, this year we spent 2 days on location in Hermosa Beach at a $16 million beach house shooting commercial lifestyle advertising. Day 3, we shot at this airfield with 1940s fighter jets and unbelievable sequence with world-class top supermodels. And they were styled in a way where, yes, they were cutting edge because they were styled by my celebrity stylists, but I made sure that the styling was also something that's going to be, I would say, more timeless. And the more timeless the styling, generally the longer the shelf life you can use that content for. So I wouldn't say that like, hey, we shot this beautiful content and it'll be obsolete the next year. I would say that this content's going to have a few years shelf life because it's shot in more of a timeless way rather than like, oh, it's trending right now this month and then it's going to be out. Right. So I do think, and you guys are kind of getting a sense of a trend of what I'm talking about, is shooting to avoid just having to stick with the trends, be able to shoot content that's timeless, that's going to last for years to come, rather than just staying up with, oh my gosh, I shot this and then, oh, it's already out of season, so everything's got to go and we have to shoot all new stuff. Well, if we're going to invest in our portfolios and we're going to create this content that we're going to market for years to come, we want to make sure that it's going to be, we're going to get ROI out of it. We're going to get a return on investment from the investment we're making in our photographic portfolio. And, I spoke to a photographer yesterday who understands big production photography. And we discussed one of the biggest challenges that photographers run into and what trends right now in challenges. And that was stylists, meaning fashion stylists. He's like, yeah, I can find makeup and hairstylists, they're always easily available. But when it comes to getting wardrobe stylists, oh my gosh, they're impossible. They're such a challenge to get into. I think that, if you don't have a world-class wardrobe stylist at your fingertips, then you know what? It's going to be a huge challenge for you to go after those major campaigns for Gucci and Louis Vuitton and Prada and Burberry. You're not going to be able to be considered if you don't have a world-class stylist to style for those. And the cost and even getting them is really a challenge. Because what I've noticed that's trending, fashion stylists are unwilling to work with photographers unless they have a very substantial portfolio with top supermodels and world-class production and publications already, and they want huge budgets. Okay, wasn't always like that. When I first started out my career, there's a lot of fashion stylists that would work with you, off the cuff, working for a lot less, willing to do more for less. These days, oh my gosh, they are so hard to find. And even good fashion stylists, any good fashion stylist, they're going to be charging $2,500 a day. And if they're doing a 5-day shoot, they've got 3 days to pull, 2 days to return, 5 days shooting. That's 10 days times $2,500 a day. That's $25,000 just for the fashion styling. So think about this, a 5-day photographic workshop, the Elite Masterclass, that'd be $25,000 just for the fashion stylist. Plus their styling assistant, which is getting another $500 a day times 10 days, another $5,000. So now you're up at $30,000 just for the cost of the stylist and the styling assistant. Plus you've got pull fees from the showrooms. You've got buy-in return fees. At the end of the day, it might cost you $35,000 plus an additional $40,000 in buy-in return that you get that money back when you return. But at the end of the day, you might be out of pocket $35,000. Or, and that's just for the wardrobe, or attending one of our elite workshops. And it's, you're investing a very small amount compared to what actually the real production cost would be. And that's a huge, huge, huge advantage of something that we offer. Doing something like this, the scale of over $100,000 a day, and being able to create content that can trend and that can win major awards. From this production alone, this won the #1 fashion photographer in the world award from this workshop. That's pretty incredible. Absolutely love it. Okay. All right. So anyway, I'm getting some other excellent questions that I wanted to answer, and then I want to bring on some of our great panelists. And also, please, guys, answer in the Q&A. I also would love to know how much would you guys invest in your photographic portfolio to take you to the next level? Because if we're not investing in our photographic portfolio, we're not going anywhere. We are basically, you're saying that if you're not investing in your portfolio, essentially you don't really care about improving your book, you're improving your business, or getting anywhere in your photography. So, I would say that, oftentimes a healthy amount to invest is at least 15K per year. And I would say, if you want to really go all out and be super successful, I would invest at least 30K per year in my portfolio. I mean, me personally, I've invested not only in my photographic portfolio, but also in my marketing and my further education. I spend at least 80,000 a year every year. And that's because I'm going big. I'm going big, and that's why I'm in a position where I've been landing campaigns for Burberry. I'm landing campaigns for Giorgio Armani. I bought a castle in France. I've been in a position because I've invested into myself. And I want you guys to do the same, because I want you to be staying at the forefront, and essentially, I want you guys to be trending at the top. Very, 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 very important. So anyway, so love this. Please answer in the Q&A. Would love to hear it. And I have a great question from Josie Zatina. She's asking, what about including not size 0 models, but not plus size either? Just in the middle, regular sizes for lifestyle. I mean, you know what, Josie? That's okay. I actually would say that if you're shooting lifestyle, you get a little bit more leeway when it comes to sizing. I think that it's okay to be shooting maybe more of a size 4, maybe even size 6. But I would generally recommend more of that healthy but still slim size 2 to 4 or less for that photography. The main case is because you want the wardrobe to also look really, really strong on the model. You want the model to look, healthy and fit and beautiful and look amazing in her clothes. That's generally why designers choose very slim models. But I think if you stay in that range, that's great. Otherwise, if you're going to go for that, size 12 or 14 or 16 or something like that, and you're going to go more plus size, it's a whole different direction. And that's okay too. I have no problem with that. That's fantastic because they are shooting that right now. That is the case. That is happening. But I'm just kind of giving you guys what's trending. And yes, that's been trending over the last couple of years. But going forward, what's happening at Paris and Milan Fashion Week is very different. And that trends over to America. So what is happening is that we are going to see a return to the more slim models for the high fashion brands. You are going to see that, which will then trickle down into the more ready to wear brands. So just important to realize that everything is cyclical in fashion. It comes and it goes. And that's why I do think that sticking with something that's super strong, super timeless is really going to make a difference. It's going to be something that will stand the test of time. And that's why I'm showing you guys some examples of that. In fact, I'm going to show you a few examples of some of the lifestyle content that I feel is very, very, I would say, stands the test of time. Content like this. It's fun, it's energized, it's multiple models interacting together. It's creating this moment that's allowing it to unfold and then capturing it. This is so in because we want to create photographic trends that are in. And a lot of times it's experiential photography where you feel like you're inside of the scene with the talent. And if you want to see more of this, guys, I recommend going on to theagentlist.com and you can look up all the top photographic agents in the world that represent photographers. And it's just a publicly accessible website. It's free. And if you look on theagentlist.com, you can look up any photography agent in the world that represents photographers. Okay, this is fantastic. Right? So you see all of them, they're all in alphabetical order. You can even type in by region. And I recommend looking up some of the top agents and looking up to see, what is hot, what's in, what's being booked right now. And you'll notice a lot of the trends I'm talking about are in. This is the kind of stuff that we are seeing. Okay. So it's, stuff where it's not overlit. It's more natural. It's more dewy with the hair and makeup. It's also, we're looking at stuff that's a bit more lifestyle. It's more, we see a lot of this solar flare. We see a lot of this blown out backgrounds. We see a lot of fun and we see a lot of nostalgia. That's all really, really valuable stuff to see. It's really, really incredible stuff. And I want you guys to start thinking about what's trending now, what's going to be trending in the next year or two, so that we can stay ahead of the curve. Because I know, because I've experienced this and I've worked with a lot of photographers, and what you're shooting now, like what you're shooting over the next month, by the time you guys shoot it, you go through it, select the best pictures, retouch those images, and then get them up on your website and update your website, it's probably going to be, many of you, it'll be by the end of the year anyway, going into 2024. So we got to make sure that when that stuff launches, it's going to be trending in 2024. Okay, another thing I want to talk about in photographic trends is drones. Drones are so hot, guys. And I know everybody has them. They are valuable. They become kind of like a ubiquitous thing. Everybody's got drones, and it's kind of like a common thing. Everybody's got a drone these days, but it's also valuable. I mean, I love drones. And the reason being is there's a lot of different camera actions you can do with a drone that are a lot harder to do with a standard camera, especially when you're talking about, direct aerial shots down, but also stuff where you're shooting video. And I want to bring one up, which, I might have mentioned this on our last, one of the last webinars, but this is an example of shooting basically like a rail shot where you're shooting, it would be on rails or on a crane going side to side, or a very, very stable person with a whole gimbal setup. This was just shot with David Gesprecht, one of our amazing photographers and directors that's taken about, I don't know, 7 of our workshops. And him and I were doing this together just a couple of weeks ago in Newport Beach. And we shot this using a drone, and this is great. This is shooting with the DJI Mavic 3, and you notice how smooth this is. It's in 4K at 120 frames a second, matches shooting with the R5. You can integrate that together in an easy, perfect edited video, but we're integrating that. Drones are hot, whether you're shooting on the ground like that, or whether you're shooting, high up aerial. But I love these kind of sequences when, or say you're even doing real estate. Real estate, it's obviously very hot. This is, a drone shot of my castle in France. Same type of movement, side to side, much smoother and easier to do something like this than if you're standing there with a gimbal. Also, photographically, if you're photographing with the drone, the cameras are getting better and better and better. And as long as we have a lot of light, it's obviously doesn't shoot as high a quality, drones don't in the evening time. But if you have a lot of light, like middle of the day, like here, you're going to get really high quality still photographs as well. And you can get them from all angles, which is huge for something like this, where you're shooting a landscape or a building. And then of course, the shooting straight down stuff, like, we're doing in the Maldives for some of my TV travel shows, because obviously something like that is very, very important to incorporate drones. And I love drones. I mean, I'm a huge advocate of them. I use them at every single one of our workshops, but also our photographers are falling in love with them too, because, they are so valuable. And when you're showcasing that aerial perspective, it can be really, really cool for the audience to see. And, I'll even show you some of the clips from my TV show, Great Escapes, that airs on CBS. This is some of the stuff. Some of it's shot with gimbal, but a lot of it is also shot with drones. And creating content with drones is so hot right now. Also, there's underwater stuff, but mixed in with drones, shooting straight down in a beautiful place like this, stuff you could never do with regular cameras or even gimbals. But mixing in, having stuff with underwater, aerial, on the ground, all of that is incredible. We're going to be doing this in depth and intense in Miami Beach at our workshop in 2 weeks from now. So if you guys wanted to join that, let us know. It's going to be an absolutely epic experience. I also put in the chat, guys, we are also offering, if you guys want to stay ahead of the game, ahead of the curve with your photography, in the chat, click that link. And I'm putting together the opportunity for you guys to book a free photographic mastermind session with a professional photographic consultant, somebody on my team, to go over how your photography is trending in 2023 and what you might need to do to maybe adapt and to master your marketing techniques, master your social, master your portfolio, and what you need going forward so that you can take it to the next level. So please click on that link in the chat, because it is a really awesome opportunity. If you guys haven't done this already, I recommend jump on that, take advantage of that, and speak to somebody on our team, because I think it's absolutely a fantastic opportunity to get on and actually have somebody do a one-on-one session going over your images and talking about what do you want to achieve this year? What is trending and how you need to be able to reach that trend. Really, really, really valuable. Okay, guys. All right. Okay. Also, another question from Leon Saperstein. Is it possible to get a photography agent if you aren't shooting 5-figure campaigns, or need to bring them our good clients in order to get repped? That's a fantastic question, Leon, and we go in depth about that during the Closing the Deal workshop. It's a huge part of that is actually about representation, how to obtain representation as a photographer. So I strongly recommend you get involved and attend that workshop, because it's a 6-hour intensive with photographic agents that talk in depth about getting represented, how you get represented. So if that is something that you're interested in, Leon, that we talk about that in depth, and it's something that I think that would be really, really beneficial to you. That's in the Closing the Deal workshop. And Leon, I'm going to put this in the chat so you can click on that link and go through and enroll in that amazing workshop. So here, I'm just going to put that in there for everybody. We are going to go in depth into that. And this is the Closing the Deal and Booking More workshop, Booking More Clients photographic workshop. It's a 6-hour intensive, and you can watch it immediately. Once you sign up for that one. Incredible experience, Leon. But yeah, essentially there are all kinds of methods that I go in depth about how to obtain an agent. It's a very complex situation because, literally, Leon, there are only about 1/100,000th of 1% of photographers are represented by agents. It's harder to become a represented agent than it is to become an NFL player, statistically. So it's easier to become a professional athlete than it is to become a representative photographer. It's one of the most difficult things. So because of that, there is a whole strategy that I have to obtain representation. And that's why I've had agents representing me in New York since I was 24 years old. And I've been very, very fortunate to have a lot of opportunities that came from that. So I talk about that candidly, and we even bring on agents that have represented me that come on and speak as panelists that are fantastic. But Leon, I definitely recommend that. Okay, so let's see. Okay, Josie Zatina asks, you mentioned real estate. 3D photos and virtual videos are seemingly a hit in that real estate industry. What's your perspective on 3D photos and virtual videos? Those are hot. You're absolutely right, Josie, especially the 3D tours. That's very, very valuable right now. Those are trending in photography is 3D tours. Everybody is doing it. All the real estate agents are doing that because not everybody is going to travel to that place before they put in an offer. So having a 3D tour of the destination, I think, is brilliant. The only challenge is, Josie, is if you're just doing real estate photography, you're hardly making any money. Unless you have a team of 10 people beneath you and they're all doing it en masse, real estate photography, this is very, very, very low paying. So Josie, I would love for you to set up a one-on-one strategy session with one of my team members, and we can talk about maybe how we can take it to the next level in a different industry for you, or to incorporate, if you are going to stick with real estate, how we can take it to the next level with higher tier productions for the really luxury real estate market, such as incorporating talent, incorporating models, and creating almost a fashion film within that real estate purchase. So, if the client has a $10 or $20 million house, they might invest, the agent might invest in a bit more to hire a photographer and video team to produce a full shoot with a top model, create a whole visual story. That is also hot, but a lot of real estate agents are too cheap to do it. So, but we have to find the best of the best of the best are willing to. But Josie, I would love for you to set up a call with one of our team members, and we'd love to help you. And you as well, Leon Saperstein, I'd love to help you with that. Jada Bostic asked, how do you expand your clientele within that specific industry? Okay, so Jada, if you could maybe elaborate on which industry you're talking about, but if you're talking about the fashion industry, which I know that's what we were discussing earlier, I would say that it would be very important to shoot for lookbooks for designers, because that's what's trending each season. We essentially, if you're shooting for a fashion designer, every single quarter they come out with a new line. They're going to have their fall line, their winter line, their spring line, their summer line, and they come out 4 times a year with lookbooks. And if you start shooting for fashion brands for their lookbooks for each season, and usually it's for a printed lookbook to go for to showcase to the buyers at major department stores like Macy's and Nordstrom's and stuff like that. But also they use it for social, and they also often use it as like a catalog that they might mail to clients and also on their website. So there's a lot of usage there. Generally, those shoots, if it's for lookbooks, in my experience, I would generally get about $30,000 a lookbook. And if you do it 4 times a year, you're looking at $120,000 a year in budget for that one client. You shoot 4 times a year. It's usually a 1-day shoot, sometimes 2 days. So it's not as higher paying as advertising, but it's a way as a fashion photographer to kind of get your foot in the door with designers, start making some money. And if you get, 3 or 4 brands that you can start shooting their lookbooks for every single quarter, that's a really good basis to start from, to start going after the big magazine editorials, which then puts you into the next realm, which is shooting for the major fashion campaigns, which is usually what you would want to do. So there's a whole strategy around that. And I would definitely recommend getting involved, Jada, and speaking to one of our team members, because I think that would be really valuable to somebody like you. But we can get in depth about that. And thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate all of your answers. It looks like a lot of you guys do have we're going to get back to the poll questions here. How much do you invest in your photography? We do have quite a few of you who do invest, and then we have some of you who don't invest. So I would just say it's kind of like everybody's either one or the other. I would say that, you know, those of you guys who have not invested or are not investing in your photography, or maybe just investing a couple grand a year, you're really missing the boat. Because I tell you what, we need to constantly be growing. We need to be retooling. And as you guys can tell, what is trending is constantly having fresh work. Okay. No matter what year you're in, having fresh content is trending. And if you're not developing world-class, high-end, trending content right now, you're already behind. Okay, you're already behind. And if you're only going to invest $1,000 this year in all of your, photographic content and your marketing stuff, then it doesn't sound to me like you're really taking it as seriously as you should. And it might be why you might be stuck. So I would suggest, you know, just like any business, if I'm going to open up a restaurant, or I'm going to open up a doctor's office, or I'm going to, open up, any type of business whatsoever, takes investment. It does. It takes investment. If it's building a high-end video reel, for instance, and shooting a high-end video reel that is going to be, getting me content or getting me more clients, like this video reel has made me hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, this video reel alone, for my production company, because when I invested into the content, because some of it was from my TV commercials with celebrities, some of it was from my TV show, and some of it was from the workshops. And then also I spent money on editing it quite a bit. But that investment in developing this has led to, over 7 figures in return. So for me, I would say that, the more that I invest, the more I get back in return if it's invested properly. Investing in equipment is not going to be the best way. Investing in equipment is a huge waste of money. I only like to buy that new mirrorless camera or that new gimbal if I have a client paying for it. Meaning, if I have a client booking me and we have a budget for production rentals, then we can incorporate that and use that. All right, guys. Anyway, I love all these questions. They're absolutely fantastic. I really, really, really appreciate that. And I really appreciate you guys' answers to the polls. This is absolutely fantastic. I'm also going to put in one last survey question and bring on my panelists. Okay, so David Goff, I know you are on here, and I'd love to get your perspective. You're an amazing photographer that's also published your own book on photographic creative personal story. And David, I love your work. I think you've created some absolutely incredible photography. You've been to a couple of photographic workshops with me. And David, are you there? Because I'd love to have you jump on. And I'd love for you to, talk with me so I can answer, I can ask you a few questions live. So let me know, David. I know you are currently muted. David, let me know.
Hello?
There he is. There's that good looking guy. So David, hey, I want to know from you, what is there something that's trending in photography that you want to achieve, or is there something that are in the photographic trends that you've noticed that you're like, oh my gosh, like I want to get on that bandwagon, or that, or maybe it's stuff that you've already have achieved? But why don't you tell me a little bit about that? What is your relationship with photographic trends, and where do you want to go from here?
Well, when you and I first spoke, I was saying we were talking about fashion photography, we were talking about lifestyle. And I told you then that I was more into causes and telling stories, and people's personal development, and maybe some social issues too. Sometimes companies want to connect with what's going on socially in the world, or different causes. And that's more of what I was interested in. I think through lifestyle, you're able to tell some of those stories. And I think that some of the lifestyle work, being able to stylize using lifestyle techniques to be able to tell those stories, I think is kind of what's valuable to me.
Okay. And have you noticed any trends in lifestyle, like as far as images that you've been able to, these are just some kind of trends we were talking about, where it's like multiple image scenes and, very like, some of that kind of fun, fresh boho feel and all that stuff. Is there anything here that, you feel like you feel like was trending or that you want to achieve?
I think people having fun is always going to trend well. People interacting with each other and you know, living their best life, should I say?
Yeah, yeah. Living their best life. I like that. I like that adage, living their best life. Because you know what you mentioned right there, David, is people living their best life. That's what people want to see. You're selling an idea, right? That's an idea. People living their best life, creating stories around essentially what photographers are portraying that the client really wants to showcase. You know, it's essentially when you're doing a branding campaign for a client, you're trying to create a feeling. You're trying to create an energy around that brand. And if you're creating an energy about people having fun, everybody wants that, right, David?
That's right. I mean, creating and connecting with people's their feelings, you know, having worked with high emotional content is really, really important.
Yeah, yeah. Do you feel like the content you shot at our photographic workshops really kind of upped your game as far as what's trending?
I do. I mean, being in places I would not have ordinarily been, working with some models that I would not have worked with, it was really, really valuable and really opened my eyes to a lot of what possibilities there are.
Yeah. Yeah, totally, totally. Well, you know what, David, I know you had attended, I believe Miami, and then you did like the Newport Beach experience. You know, I wanted to actually show a certain image from the production you were at, and it was this one. And I find like this one, I feel like hits so many boxes, right? Because during this sequence, you know, we're shooting with multiple models. We've got animals, we've got wine, we've got a highly stylized food photography, beverage photography. So you're kind of hitting everything, farm to table. We've got, you know, we can go after food brands. We can go after wine brands. We've got apparel with like Free People apparel. So we're kind of going after something like, so to me, David, shooting content like this, and you were at this production with Highland Cow and all these top models, this is the kind of content that runs the gamut. So it basically, you can go after, you know, a dozen different industries with content like this because this is trending.
There's so much content, so many different things going on in this particular image that, you know, people can't take it in at just a glance. You know, you have to kind of look and say, well, what's that? And what's going on there? So, I mean, it's attracting a lot of attention a lot of different ways.
Definitely. Definitely it is. And beautifully styled. You know, there's definitely there's fun too. And you mentioned that, like, it's about fun, right? It's about,
Right.
you know, creating these moments where there's engagement and they're having fun together. And I think that that's really strong. And I know that, you know, you come from, you know, more of like a portrait background, right? And,
Right.
you know, and I think this is from some of your work, something like this, where it's like, it's really beautiful and there's a lot of fun going on, but it's also a couple integrating together. So it's kind of this, you know, works well with portraiture, but also works well on the commercial and fashion side as well.
True. True. The models were so great. They did it. I was just there to capture it, you know.
You were there to capture it. Yeah.
I was just lucky to be behind the camera.
Absolutely. Yeah. And tell me a little bit about that experience. I mean, you got to be on set with us twice, and you got to be able to kind of see how we do these big productions and, you know, making all this magic happen, having these productions right at your fingertips, and then being able to create and not have to worry about all those little logistics and stuff like that, and creating these great moments. How did that feel for you to have that huge production with all the details right at your fingertips?
It felt great. I mean, like I say, being in places I would not have been and having the opportunity to shoot models, and just the staging and the styling of the clothes, it was just great. I mean, it's like being able to take my work to a different level, a different place, and see it done by some of the best, and being able to, you know, stand beside them and let my work compare.
I love it. And your work is incredible. I mean, the stuff you shot was absolutely amazing. I'm really proud of you. And I feel like the content you shot at these productions is the best content you've ever shot in your lifetime. And I'm really proud of you because the content is like so next level. And it's all the little details. Like, I just want you to pay attention, guys. Look at the wardrobe styling. Look at the every little detail from the wardrobe styling and how the wardrobe is laying on the models, the moments, where the solar flare is. all the little details. To me, this feels very authentic. It feels very real. And that's what I like, is the authenticity and the realness to it. And I know that traditionally, your images tended to be a little bit more set up and more like, the prior to the workshop, and a little bit less of the like, more in the moment kind of moments. How did it feel to get more into that in the moment feeling rather than having it just more posed?
I really enjoyed the organic feeling of the shoots. I mean, like I say, it's kind of like being able to co-create, because it's you, the models, the set and all that. And, you're really in the moment.
Yeah.
You're not controlling all the different aspects of it. You're just catching those particular moments.
Totally. Yeah. I like that. You're co-creating, and you're creating these incredible sequences and fun sequences. They're playing with roller skates, they're laughing, they're smiling. And it's just gorgeous. The styling, the light, the moment. And also, I wanted to talk a little bit about lighting too, David. So I know that the workshops you got to attend with me were a bit more on the lifestyle side. So had you experienced doing a lot of that lifestyle lighting where it's large scale, giant 8x8 foot bounces and scrims? Was that a common thing you incorporated into your photography before the workshop, or was that new to you?
No, that was completely new to me. Using the bounces and the scrims was completely new to me, and not using any other forms of lighting. Like I said, that even puts you more in the moment, because you've got to adjust those as the sun moves across the sky and the light changes. As life is going on, you're just gradually adjusting to it and catching it.
Absolutely. And also, David, the other thing too is a scene like where we have multiple models in the scene, you can capture lighting on all of the models at once, rather than having to like bring in 5 different lights to light each model separately. But we can light the whole scene with that giant bounce, which I loved.
Right.
I loved. So, I mean, it looks beautiful. And to me, it looks really natural. It looks like it's end of the day, golden hour, backlit, stunning imagery. I'm really proud of you, David. It's really gorgeous work. You're an amazing photographer, and it's just great to see you have these huge production sets to be able to walk on set and create the greatest images of your lifetime. So anyway, I'm proud of you, David, and I really appreciate, all your comments today and the content you've created, and I'm excited to see where it all goes.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate you and what you do for photographers. It's really amazing.
Well, thank you, David. I really appreciate it. And I can't wait to see you in the future. I always love working with you. You have the best energy. And this is a big part of it too, David, is just working with good people that we like to spend time with. And we like to create great, beautiful photography content together that's trending. Cool.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, David. Well, I appreciate that. And I have our next panelist on here, the great Bill Viren. And the great Bill Viren, him and his wonderful wife, Fran, have both attended many workshops with me over the years, since probably for the last, 10 years or so. I mean, you've been with me for many, many, many years. So it's really great to see you again. I know Bill's attended workshops all over the country with me. And Bill, I want you to tell me and maybe talk about what has been, do you feel like your photography now in 2023 is trending, or do you feel like maybe we can, just make some adjustments and create some new trending? And why don't you talk a little bit about that and what your perspective is in trends in photography?
Hey, Kevin, thanks for having me. It's good to be here. Yeah, I always had a good time at your workshops. In terms of trends for this year, it's really getting my business back going again, because as you know, most of my focus has been on event photography, and the work that we did at your workshops helped with either the lighting or posing or styling. So a lot of the event stuff is kind of, I'm there to capture what the client needs, but with terms of the posing and just making things better, using the techniques I learned with you and just the images we created helped. So really this year has been all about trying to improve the business, because COVID really stopped the event space from happening. So really what I did with the images that we took was to leverage those to say, if I can create these, then look what I can do for you for your various events. And Fran and I enjoy the event work because a lot of times it's like technical conferences that we go and not only get to take pictures, but we meet an awful lot of interesting people and learn about an awful lot of topics. Like a couple of weeks ago, we did a glaucoma conference all about eye surgery. So we spent 4 days basically taking pictures of and interacting with a bunch of eye surgeons that were at the conference. And so it was learn about the equipment. They had a big trade show there. So it was really interesting to see what's going on there.
That's fantastic, Bill. And I mean, this was years ago. I mean, you probably took this workshop, I don't know, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, or maybe even longer.
Been a while.
And it's still incredible. The content is still incredible. I mean, that's what I'm really wowed about is like, even today I look on this and, maybe these specific styles aren't, on, Paris Fashion Week right now. But as far as the look and feel, I feel like I love the edginess to it. I love the dewy look. And it's kind of interesting because we were kind of ahead of our time. We had this kind of dewy look, which we just looked at on some of those Dolce & Gabbana ads. And we shot this, 7-8 years ago.
Yeah.
So this is really incredible. It's incredible to see something that's shooting something, Bill, at our workshops that actually can really stand the test of time and not be just completely obsolete and outdated.
And then, some of the other stuff on the website was basically the images that we did with you. We took what we learned with you and basically produced our own shoot.
Excellent. Excellent.
So it was, and to use that for marketing as well. So that when you talk to clients, you can say, well, I can do this for you as well.
I love it. I love it. Excellent. Well, you know what? I mean, I think that, we need to obviously add to this. I mean, when looking at your website, like I feel like this is the strongest work on the first couple of images. And I feel like maybe it drops off a little bit after this. So I would say, if we can kind of get back to more, I think that you've done a really good job of having this as the first images on your fashion page. And I would suggest revamping and adding to this so that the content all looks like this. I would say the other stuff is maybe a little bit not as strong, but the stuff at the top here to me is still the most powerful content. And I would say adding to this, these should be your first cornerstone images, and then adding to content like this and freshening it up so that your entire portfolio is 40 solid images of absolutely stunning, iconic imagery, just like these. Iconic imagery, but that's in right now. That's hot right now. That's going to go after those big clients, and also using it to leverage to go after the kind of stuff that you're talking about, where you're using these great fashion images to leverage towards even events and other type of corporate clients and things like that, which I think is brilliant.
Right. I mean, we've done some work for clients in town, and they're like, well, we want to do something outdoors, and so they look at these images and go, yeah, if you can light that, yeah, that's what kind of stuff we want.
I would also even say getting you into more of the lifestyle stuff too. I would love to see a whole lifestyle body of work develop something like this, because a lot of those corporate clients, and you're in Texas, right?
Right.
Yeah. There's a lot of big corporate headquarters in Texas. There's a lot of major, I know you work with a lot of tech companies and stuff like that. And anything where it's, tech, consumer goods, finance, banks, as well as energy, everything's looking for happy, healthy people having fun, enjoying life, healthcare, all vital. And content like this. So absolutely incredible. And I love to see your work. And it's really cool to me because, Bill, you, as many photographers that I've worked with over the last 14 years in the photography workshop series, it's cool to see because even many, many, many years later, I touch base with a photographer and I still see that some of the strongest work they've ever shot in their lifetime was at the workshop, even if it was 7 years ago. It's like, oh my gosh, they created mind-blowing content there, because clients are going to come in the way of preventing you from shooting the best of the best content sometimes. So Bill, why don't you tell me, as far as the next step, as far as where you want to go with the next level, because you mentioned events got kind of crushed during COVID. Where do you want to go going forward? What would be the ideal clients for you that are trending?
I think the corporate clients here in town, I mean, it doesn't have to be in town, but like you said, refresh the work. So basically the plan is this year is basically with the work that's available right now, given what we've got. The COVID thing is wound down. Things are getting going again. We're getting more inquiries. So the business is picking up. So basically invest in the time and energy to shoot stuff, make some money, and then come to your workshops probably next year, maybe refresh, the stuff, and then, continue to work with businesses here in town and other ways. I mean, one of the clients came to town, Louis Vuitton was in town for a conference.
Wow.
And I'm sure some of this work that we reviewed with them off our website helped, get us the event to shoot it for them. So that was helpful. They weren't doing product stuff there. It was more of a business meeting, but nonetheless, they're like, okay, so you're sort of fashion minded, and that helped bring the business in.
I love that. And what you just said, basically you use fashion, but to land an event client because they saw the interest in that. I love that. That's really, really cool. Congratulations on that, Bill. Well, yeah, I mean, I know I've talked to you about this for a while, but event photography, obviously the challenge with that, as many photographers know, is that it is reliant on, public health. It's reliant on what's happening in the economy and in the world, and it isn't always going to be as stable. However, but brands always need their advertising campaigns photographed and filmed. And I would love to see you shoot more of the larger scale commercial campaigns, not just events, but actually shoot their actual branding campaign. So you can be, visually attractive. Your brand can be the brand to shoot those major campaigns.
Right.
Yeah. I love it. So my suggestion for you to stay on top of what's trending is refine this, add more content so that it all matches these first two images, and have a full 40 image cohesive body of work, iconic images like this. And then I would also add a whole commercial lifestyle division to go after, because you're already so heavily involved with corporate. You already have the contacts, but going after those corporate clients to shoot that, and also offer them video.
Right.
Offer video, so you have that beautiful video reel. And this is something that I didn't really do so much back in the day when you took our workshops, but these days all of our workshops have that heavy video component, like you're saying.
Yeah, you got to do the video these days.
It's critical. That's trending big time. Well, sounds great. I'm so excited, Bill. I'd also, love for you to get on a strategy session with one of my team members just to go over what's next for visually attractive photography in 2023 and going into 2024, and maybe help strategize about your photographic trends and how you can kind of get on top of them.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Bill. I appreciate it. And it's been wonderful to see you, because I've worked with you for many years, and it's great, really great to see you again. I love it.
Yeah, no, you're always helpful, Kevin. It's always good.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Bill. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. I'd like to ask any last questions, and also bring on the great Priscilla Evans as a panelist. Priscilla is an incredible master in production. She's coordinating the productions. She's making sure all this magic happens, bringing in these exotic animals from, we're sometimes shooting with Bactrian camels up at 11,000 feet up in Colorado, or we're shooting with rearing horses out in Las Vegas, or we're shooting with 13 polo horses on location in Virginia at the equestrian workshop, doing all these amazing things, or even pulling off kangaroos and baby lemurs like she did last time. But Priscilla, I know you coach photographers every day on strategies and how they can stay on the top of photographic trends. Why don't you talk a little bit about what's trending? What are you noticing? And what do you feel like the photographers are lacking in matching and keeping up with the photographic trends, as far as with models, as far as with styling, as far as staying up with what clients are looking for? I'd love to hear your perspective on that.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on. And yeah, speaking of diversity, I have probably the most diverse list of contacts in my phone of anyone out there. There are reindeer people, there's my American kangaroo people, my Australian kangaroo people. It's ridiculous, but it's all good fun. We get to create some magic on these productions. So it's absolutely worth it. And definitely in terms of trends, there is, there's always, it's a changing industry, as Kevin was saying, everything's cyclical, but understanding what the most important elements are, and especially, with those poll questions, like how much you've got to invest in your branding, in your marketing, that kind of sets the bar for, what kind of number of trends that we can hit and target, you know, with your portfolio. If you've got an unlimited budget for your portfolio, well, of course you can develop a fresh portfolio right now for what's in right now, and you can do the same thing next year and the same thing the year after. But you know, not all of us have that luxury. So it's important to be able to understand, as Kevin very well can, what is timeless, what's going to last, stand the test of time, earn you money for a long time to come, because at the end of the day, it's a business, not, you know, anything else. So, you know, that should be really the number one driving force, is what is going to generate, you know, fresh new clients and more of them at a higher and higher level. So in terms of those trends and you know, things that I notice and I talk a lot with photographers about, a fresh, gorgeous website is always in. It's more important than social. I think we have a lot of conversations about, oh, social, and I'm not, you know, not the best at social, or should I be doing more with that? It's important, but just don't underestimate how much more important your website and that portfolio is. That's the most important thing. You know, I really love fresh templates that are in right now. You know, like Squarespace is a great website if you're looking for a website platform to kind of be very user-friendly, you know, phone compatible, so that you're always looking at the best version of the image on other devices too. Always remember those things, that, you know, these are the number one most important things when, you know, if a client or a potential client is looking at booking you, you know, they're going to be noticing and judging you based off the presentation, you know. So having a, like, I love Squarespace. I also love format.com. They're fantastic, you know, gorgeous logo and your typography. You know, typography, you can tell if it was an older website or an older website platform as opposed to a fresh, young, and, you know, version of the text as well. So really hitting the points with your typography and the presentation of that brand, you know, and then of course getting into those gorgeous images. I love full bleed images, or, you know, like you're seeing here, full bleed video, and video, of course, being that huge trend that's, you know, definitely becoming more and more and more important. I think the big key there is, and the reason for it is that, you know, with photography, you know, there is Photoshop and there are, you know, artificial ways to kind of create an image. And so there's not always these days the complete trust, especially for luxury clients with luxury products or high-end, you know, expensive products that they're trying to sell. You know, I think that the trust comes when you see video. You can't fake video. You can't lie in the video the same way that you maybe, you know, can get away with it, you know, with Photoshop. So video is absolutely in. It's going to be more and more relevant. If you haven't already had clients that have asked for it, you know, you definitely will. And certainly if you don't have it on your website, you're probably turning away more clients than you might realize. So just bear that in mind. And, you know, having a really diverse, you know, mix of all sorts of different scenes, locations, you know, and content, you know, in your video reel, super important. It's a great place to be able to maybe put some of those a little bit more out of date publications that we don't really want someone clicking in and zooming, oh, it was from 2004, but maybe it's an insane image. And so just having it flash up for a split second in your video reel is a better place for it, you know. So it's things like that, video, and having an awesome video reel with really fresh current editing, you know, as well, making sure that the editing of it is something that reflects what a lot of brands are after these days, and knowing your clientele, and from that basing your portfolio and planning that portfolio around who your clientele are. You know, if you've got a really big mix, but you're wanting to narrow down or go a little bit further, you know, with the budgets or whatever it might be over the coming year, best place to start would be to ask yourself, like, who or maybe what are the top 10 brands or clients that you'd love to shoot for. And from that, you know, we can kind of extrapolate, okay, well, this is then the look that your portfolio needs to have. And, you know, in terms of the talent, having, you know, agency represented models or supermodels, it's, you know, fashion and lifestyle, you know, you want to be able to have recognizable faces. So that's really, really important. Having a production and having images that reflect a really high-end production, that's always going to help you grow. You know, as Kevin said, you want to be constantly growing, constantly evolving. And I think that there's, you know, for us, in terms of what we do at the workshops, we are constantly evolving in terms of the scale of what we're doing. We're constantly putting together like bigger, better, crazier productions. And that's something that I think clients want to see that evolve too, especially if you're having regular follow-ups with clients. A lot of the time, you know, a client that you're maybe having that first conversation with this year, they might be booking you, or they might finally have that budget available, you know, in 3 years' time. What that means is that in the meantime, they're probably checking in more often than you think on, you know, in terms of looking at your website and what you've got. to show for that, visual facade of the brand. It's really important that they're seeing someone's brand that looks busy. That person has to look busy and therefore have, fresh content being added to that brand and to that website and that portfolio. So appearing busy, even if you're not, right now, making sure that you're shooting all the time to make sure that the portfolio is fresh and getting the best content possible up there, and making sure that that overall portfolio reflects the brands that you're wanting to land. It reflects something of at least that caliber, if not above. And overall, that the quantity, of course, is there. 40 image cohesive body of work is generally, industry standard, at least. You can always have more, but at least if you've got that for each individual brand, then you're well on your way.
Priscilla, I wanted to ask you about, I wanted you to answer some questions here. So we had Leon Saperstein asks, by the way, Leon, thank you so much for all the great questions. What does unlimited coaching mean? Because you mentioned that, we give a lot of ongoing coaching to our photographers free of charge, which normally photographic consultants will charge, $100 an hour to do coaching. But we offer that for free ongoing. Why don't you answer that to Leon and maybe give Leon some suggestions about what he needs to do with his photographic brand?
Absolutely. Definitely. In terms of any of our workshops, if it's a virtual workshop, if it's, an in-person workshop, which of course you're going to get the best and the most value from, because you'll actually go home with something tangible that you can, put on your brand and your website, portfolio, social, entering competitions, publish, whatever. Then yes, they all come with unlimited coaching. What that means from us is we'll give as much as you can possibly want to take. That is different for different photographers. Sometimes it's regular check-ins and catch-ups, and it's, over the form of Zoom calls or sometimes in person even. And it just depends on, what and how quickly and how intensely you're wanting to build or grow or, achieve whatever goals that you might have. But that can come in lots of different forms. We attack kind of the branding side of things, and we can go through, and develop some, business plans in terms of getting the brand looking fantastic, and also having that business plan cover your marketing strategies, techniques in there, be it print promo or e-promo. Different kinds of emails are in different industries right now in terms of that reach out and what a prospective client wants to see. They want it to feel personal and customized to them. So it's really important that if you are doing, mass email broadcasts or, emails to lots of people at once, that it's within a, very niche category, so that the email does feel kind of personalized for everyone. Yeah, lots of strategies. We can go into it and we could talk for hours about this, but certainly if it's, branding you're wanting help with, or marketing or guidance, how to do those reach outs. Sometimes that coaching comes in the form of us actually editing. I've done before little editing of, different budgets and pitches, for campaigns as well. Often within those budgets and estimates, there can be a lot of money left on the table, sometimes without even changing, the client's budget, without even getting more out of the client. There's a lot more left that you could be walking away with. So it can take loads of different forms. It can be looking at your video reel, giving you that kind of industry advice and guidance, and sort of giving you a to-do list if that's what you're after, for what to get done in order to land the next big client. But it comes, from us, from our team, and, we've got photographers that took workshops, 10, 12 years ago, Kevin, that we're still chatting with pretty regularly and, helping them whenever they need a hand. So,
just like Bill Viren that just came on. I mean, we've been talking to him for probably 9-10 years, and we're still talking to him. We're still coaching him and guiding him.
Exactly. So it just depends on what specifically, you're after, Leon. From the sounds of it, I know you've been asking some questions about, booking more clients specifically. So, if you want us to have a chat about that, and where maybe there's some new strategies we could be exploring, or just new ways to approach clients, maybe even doing up a new list of prospective clients and working out the best way to, send them the best content, right in the kind of verbiage even that just gets them to either respond to the email or answer the call. And a lot of the time, with what we do, we've got other folders of, loads of documents too that our photographers get that we don't talk about too often. We've actually got a Dropbox folder that no matter what you enroll in, you get this. It's got a brand, what is it, Kevin? It's business, creative, and retouching folders in there. So there's, tips and tricks on, that you can send your retouchers to actually follow the step-by-step instructions on how to retouch, a fashion image, the the creative folder, there's example creative briefs. The business side, I think there's example call scripts and email templates. So honestly, like pretty much everything is in, you know, in terms of the coaching, what you're getting from us. And if there's a specific email template you'd like some help with, you know, for example, with a new client, then we can help with that too. It really just takes the form of as much coaching as you want, and, you know, we'll give as much as you want to take. And Leon as well, feel free to write in if there's any specific, you know, requests that you had for, you know, any of that. And we'd be more than happy to jump on a Zoom call as well and chat with you after this. Perfect. And I see, Leon, you popped there as well that you need some help with the marketing and client acquisition. So yeah, that's the perfect thing that we can chat about. I think Kevin's just having, we'll see if he's back on in a second, but feel free as well, Leon, to let me know if there's anything specifically, and we'll definitely go through that. Marketing is a huge, huge super beast. It takes so many different formats. It's like having multiple cogs, you know, of a machine running all at the same time. So it does take a long time to set that up. A lot of the photographers that we work with tend to, you know, plan out their marketing strategies well in advance of attending a workshop, and then, you know, have them ready to go straight away afterwards, so that, you know, you're set up, you're just waiting for the content, and as soon as you've got it, you can put it into action. All right, Kevin, how are you going there? Is it working again for you? All good. Well, we'll keep going here, guys. I've got a few more questions in the Q&A as well that I can hit while we wait for that. So Jalen, you asked as well, how do you approach a modeling agency? So I know that, you know, for our workshops, Kevin does a lot of the casting. Sometimes for some workshops, we're casting from between 10 and 20 different agencies. A lot of the time, you know, when you're asking and you're requesting for different packages of models as well, you know, that those can take lots of different formats, and depending on your brand is going to really, you know, be the basis of whether or not those particular agencies send you their best or even want to work with you at all. A lot of the time they won't, depending on what they see in your website. So depending on where your brand's at, you know, is where we kind of have to start from, and, you know, work out the kind of wording with those different agencies and how to approach them. But certainly if you've got incredible content that reflects, you know, a lot of different publications, and depending on the client's budget as well. But remember that with modeling agencies, the budget alone is not, you know, enough to be able to say, hey, they'll then send you their best talent. A lot of the time it comes down to, does your brand, you know, prove to the agency that you're worth sending their girls or guys to? So, you know, it does definitely come down to having something fantastic to start with. It's a bit tough and sometimes a bit unfair for photographers to hear that, but it is the way that it works. And in terms of the reach outs, a lot of the time it's happening, you know, phone calls, emails, back and forth with agencies in the lead up to those particular days you're wanting to book talent for. So just depending on how is generally, you know, what it'll depend on what type of talent you can get. But if you can start with an amazing brand, send them a website that has 40 cohesive images, you know, that look incredible with lots of different publications as well to back you up, which is something as well that we do at the workshops. We actually can guarantee publication, which is pretty rare. You know, that's something that doesn't happen too often, but thankfully with Kevin's enormous network, we're able to, you know, get photographers published worldwide if it's something that you're after. And having that kind of added gravitas to your brand really helps. So hopefully that answers your question. How do you approach them? Well, it's normally an email, but it'll really depend on what you're showing them of your own brand as to whether or not they answer you. It's a bit tough to hear probably, but just the way that it is. And definitely, you know, 3D photos and virtual videos as well. Josie, I think we chatted a little bit maybe earlier about real estate. I mean, they're definitely in. I think that videos are in, but what's even more in than that in terms of the real estate industry is high-end, like luxury, in terms of where the budgets are, luxury sort of walkthroughs or fashion stories that are actually filmed by you, including the location, but also including talent. So if there's people involved as well, if you can get, a location that's, multi-million dollar, estate or penthouse or something up for sale, if you can, get that estate published or film it in a way that it looks like this incredible, fashion featured location, then it definitely, there'll be a budget attached and it's worth going for those types of jobs, because there'll be more in it for you at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Priscilla. I mean, you gave some really, really fantastic advice. And she mentioned something like, doing huge productions at amazing locations, just like this, and just like at the 49-room castle in France that I own. Priscilla's actually flying to the castle tomorrow. And she's flying into Paris and then tomorrow evening and then heading down to the castle. She'll be there for a few weeks as well. But we're going to be doing all kinds of massive productions there this summer. And then, of course, we have our epic photographic workshop. But thank you so much. And Leon, you had asked these great questions, and I just wanted to follow up on that because you have looks like some great work. But I also feel like when we're showcasing this to clients, we want to make sure, Leon, that your work is always in. It's always hot right now. That everything you're doing it's trending. And we want to make sure that your content is going to be at the top, and in the front and center of what the clients are looking for. So if you feel like, you're not being noticed as much right now, we need to make sure that the content is cutting edge and it is trending, especially if you're doing fashion, because I know that you do fashion. And I think that, after reviewing your website, you've got some beautiful work. Absolutely gorgeous work. But I think that we definitely need to cull down to just the best of the best of the best. And we need a full 40 image cohesive body of work, because that is going to be hot to have that 40 image cohesive body of work that is completely having at least 30 iconic images that are going to just completely pop off the page and wow and dazzle the clientele. And that's something that we can help you with and coach you ongoingly on. So I look forward to, working with you, and also in person at the workshops. I also highly recommend you do the Closing the Deal workshop. Will totally rock your world. You guys have been an incredible audience, and thank you so much for joining us. There's so many photographic trends that we got to go over as far as photographic equipment and filming equipment, as well as what's trending as far as with social, what's trending with as far as photographic techniques and style, what's trending in fashion, what's trending in all these different aspects of the industry. And I know that everything is changing all of the time, but we need to stay ahead of the trends, not just with the trends, but ahead of the trends, so that your content can stay evergreen. It can stay, it can last the test of time. I think that's kind of the message that I want you guys to take away from this. And, that's one of the reasons that, hey, we got to see David, Bill and Fran Viren, Bill, who's attended all these amazing workshops, and his content was from like 9 years ago. And it's still content that is, I feel, really strong even today. And that to me says a lot about the production value and the quality of what we offer at these epic photographic workshops, and to create content that is going to stand the test of time. And to give you guys an idea, there is one last spot in the Miami Beach workshop. This was actually just a clip out of the camera that our photographers shot at the Miami Beach workshop last year. To give you an idea, there's just a few epic clips shooting with supermodels on location in Miami Beach. This is actually going to be one of the spots we're going to be at, as well as on Key Biscayne. Unbelievable production and incredible top models, but telling these stories that are very commercially viable and very, very marketable for the trends for 2023 and onwards. Thank you guys so much. I really look forward to working with you. And if you guys have any additional questions, anything that we did not cover during this really intensive webinar, because I know we've been talking for the last hour and 40 minutes about everything in trends, but there's so many more to talk about. We would love to carry on that conversation on a one-on-one strategy session where we can go over your photography personally and how we can connect the dots between where you're at photographically in your photography to what's hot in 2023. So make sure to click on that link if you haven't already. And also, the last but not least, I'd like you guys to also make sure that you are subscribed to our YouTube channel, because we have over 70 of these amazing live free webinars on our YouTube channel that you can watch and rebroadcast on all different topics of photography, from closing the deal to travel photography, drones, shooting in France, shooting in the Maldives, shooting in Bali, shooting in Australia, all over the world, and then also on fashion, lifestyle, portraiture, weddings, all different topics of photography, and things that will really advance your photography going forward. We do and offer these amazing photographic free webinars for you guys' benefit, because we want you guys to all succeed in photography. So make sure to click on that link, make sure to subscribe to our channel. We look forward to working with you guys, and I can't wait to see you guys take it to the next level and be ahead of the trends for 2023.